Imagine for a moment that every gesture you make, no matter how small, turns into an invisible wave. This wave does not vanish into nothingness. It expands. It touches someone, who then touches another, and the impact keeps echoing further than you could ever see. A smile to a stranger may encourage them to face their day. A word of comfort may prevent someone from giving up on themselves. Helping is not just a social courtesy. It is a silent law that sustains the balance of life itself. Some call it karma, others call it resonance, others simply call it love. But whatever name we give, the truth remains. No act of kindness is ever wasted. Modern science has begun to confirm what sages and spiritual leaders have been teaching for centuries. Research in positive psychology reveals that people who cultivate the practice of helping others consistently develop higher levels of emotional well-being, stronger resilience, and even longer lives. Helping activates brain areas related to reward, purpose, and pleasure, releasing oxytocin, sometimes called the love hormone, which strengthens trust and connection. From a spiritual perspective, helping is far more than an external action. It is a reorganization of one's own inner energy. When you choose to support, to understand, to comfort, or simply to listen, you are not just changing someone else's story. You are tuning your own heart to the frequency of harmony. And the universe, in its mysterious way, responds. It is as if every generous gesture sends out a signal that says, "I choose love over indifference." And life, hearing that signal, answers back with more meaning, more peace, and more opportunities to grow. A wise man, seated among families eager for guidance, told this parable. Two travelers were walking a long and difficult road under the scorching sun. Both were tired, hungry, and thirsty. Their feet ached, their lips were dry, and their thoughts were fixed only on reaching shelter. On the way, they found a man lying on the ground, bleeding and moaning in pain after a heavy fall. The first traveler looked at him with brief concern, but his mind quickly reasoned, "If I stop, I will lose precious time. My goal is far ahead. Someone else will surely come later and take care of him." And without another thought, he stepped aside and hurried away, tightening his cloak as if to shield himself from responsibility. The second traveler, though equally exhausted, felt his heart stirred. He knelt down, tore a piece of his own clothing, and made a bandage to stop the bleeding. He poured the little water he carried onto the man's lips, though he himself was thirsty. He lifted him with difficulty, supporting the wounded body step by step until they reached a nearby shelter. Once there, even though his own provisions were scarce, he shared what little he had, ensuring the man could recover. Time passed. Both travelers eventually arrived at the final destination, but at different moments and in very different states. The first arrived quickly, but alone, weary and strangely empty. The second arrived later, but accompanied by gratitude, by friendship, and by a peace that no wealth or speed could ever buy. The wise man then said, "Life observes every choice. Hurry may allow quick steps, but only love builds lasting paths." And you? How many times have you turned your eyes away from another's pain, believing that someone else will help? How often do we let the greatest opportunities for inner growth slip through our hands because we are too occupied with our own urgencies? Helping is not about having much to give. It is about giving something when the moment calls for it. A smile, a kind word, a listening ear, or simply being present. These can be as precious as bread and water for someone suffering in silence. Perhaps the world does not need more heroes with superpowers. Perhaps what it needs most are ordinary people with open hearts. Here are a few simple gestures you can apply today. Choose one person close to you and offer help without waiting for them to ask. Donate a little of your time. Call someone you know is lonely. If you see someone in difficulty, resist the thought, "This is not my problem." Do what is within your reach. At the end of the day, ask yourself, who felt lighter today because I existed? These simple choices create a flow of kindness that expands far beyond what we can measure. And mysteriously, these waves always return, softening our struggles, brightening our paths, and transforming our own lives as well. Every time we help, something invisible happens. we are not only helping the other person, we are healing a part of ourselves. Because deep inside we are all threads of the same fabric. To strengthen one thread is to strengthen the whole tapestry. Helping does not impoverish, it multiplies. The bread you share becomes abundance. The word you give becomes hope. The hand you extend becomes courage. If this message touched you, write in the comments one word that represents what you want to offer to the world. Help. Compassion, generosity, love, light. Each word will be like a flame, and together we will create a fire that no darkness can extinguish. And if you want to, continue walking with us, where science and spirituality meet to reveal the extraordinary hidden in simple actions. Subscribe to the channel. Each video here is an invitation to awaken a new way of living. Remember, life is not measured by how quickly we reach the end, but by what we sow along the way. The final destination is not just the place where we arrive, it is also the hearts we touch, the burdens we lighten, and the hope we plant in others. When you choose to help, you will discover something profound. In truth, you never walk alone.